Hello, I'm Roger Watson. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of Nurse Education and Practice, and welcome to this edition of the NEP podcast. Hello, and welcome to the third NEP podcast. I'm speaking to you on the 2nd of July 2021. This means it's the middle of the year, and at this time, Clarivate issues their impact factors. This is a time when authors, editors and publishers are all waiting to see if their journals have improved, or if they've gone down, or indeed if they've stayed the same. I'm very happy to say that Nurse Education and Practice has increased its impact factor score from 1.614 to 2.281. Now, I only took over the journal in January this year, so this was none of my doing. This is all down to Karen Holland and the editors who were working with her before I joined the journal. It's also worth saying that many journals have seen significant increases in their impact factor at this time. This is because Clarivate have slightly changed the way that they account for citations to journals, and for the first time they're including early view. So there's a slight change, and we predicted that this would increase impact factors. So I think it's going to be very important to watch the impact factor in the years ahead. The impact factor, of course, remains controversial, and some universities, for example one in the Netherlands, has now declared that it will no longer use the impact factor of journals in the promotion of its staff. In the United Kingdom, where I work, and I think mostly in the United States, impact factor isn't really paid that much attention to, but I do know that in the Far East and in Europe and in some other parts of the world, in the Middle East too, that impact factor of journals is very important. So it is controversial, and whether we like it or not, it is something that we can't ignore. The impact factor score, of course, is an arbitrary measure, and it measures the number of citations in 1 year to the articles that were published in the previous 2 years. So it's completely arbitrary, and it's also worth noting, and many people don't realise this, that if an article is cited in the year of the reporting of the impact factor, that it doesn't actually contribute to the impact factor. There are many alternative measures. None of them have really caught on, and several studies have shown that most of these other measures, like eigenvalues and so forth, are all strongly correlated with the impact factor. So the impact factor at least does indicate something about the performance of journals. Worth noting also that Elsevier, the publishers of Nurse Education and Practice, have their own version of the impact factor. It's called CiteScore. It's similar, but it's different, and it measures citations to articles published in the previous 3 years in the year of reporting the CiteScore. So it's not that different, but it does take in a slightly longer time period. So I'm always pleased when the impact factor of a journal that I'm working on increases, and it's not something that we should be too obsessed about, but we should hope to increase it by publishing the highest possible quality of articles. That's how we hope to maintain and increase our impact factor in the years ahead. So I'll be back at this time next year to speak again about the impact factor in 2022, and we'll see if what I'm doing and what I'm doing with my colleagues in the journal at the moment is actually working from that perspective. So, hope you found that interesting. Thank you very much for listening.
This podcast was produced in association with youpublicationslimited.com.